Coming to you straight from the Rio Grande and beyond. Broadcasting to the four corners of the globe. So grab your seat, your coffee, or your sundowner.
Okay, everybody, here we go.
On point, as always. This is Gloves Off. Gloves Off.
We're back at you in Gloves Off. I'm Paul Buitron. I'm here with a great guest, an icon, a pillar of the community of Laredo in South Texas, a man that stood in front of a lot of corruption and stood in front of it as a watchdog, in a watchdog kind of sense. He's loved by many in the community. His name is Dr. Hector Farias. Doctor, how are you doing today?
Thank you, and thank you for the opportunity to be here with you this morning, Paul.
You know, Doctor, you've been a mentor to many. A lot of people now just have heard of a lot of the things a lot of good that you all and the organization VIDA did and have done in the past. So I wanted to touch base on that. How did it all start? How did the organization VIDA start? And how did you get involved with saying, you know what, not today, not under my watch? How did that happen?
Well, we have to go back to 1966 when Laredo merchants were paying 25 cents an hour, a very miserable wage where people could not subsist, when everything was controlled, the elected officials. So Laredo at that time was one of the poorest cities in the nation. It got to the point where several conscious-minded people said, hey, you know what, no more. And so the lead was taken by two individuals, Richard Geisler and Chaca Ramirez. They started VIDA. I joined with them. There were a lot of strikes downtown. Laredo had never seen this. They didn't know what was going on, but employees just walked off the job. And so as this continued, people were flabbergasted. And I remember the few of us that were willing to take on the challenge would meet and get direction from our state rep, Honoré Ligarde, who was a fine person. And I think he was the only one that would stand up for this. Anyway, Honoré introduced a law at the state legislature, and he fought and got it approved. That was the first minimum wage law passed in the state of Texas at $1.25 an hour. And if it hadn't been for him and what he had started in Laredo with protests and all of the support, that would have not happened. Shortly after that, and I think out of embarrassment, the city council in Laredo passed an ordinance to that effect, which was really meaningless because, I mean, the law had already been established because of State Rep Honoré Ligarde. So that was my initiation with VIDA, where we got our teeth cut. And from there, we went on to organize neighborhood councils in the barrios because people had no idea of how to organize, but we did not lead them because that would not have worked. They had to do for themselves, so they got organized around small things. Said, get together and go ask for trash collection. Go ask for small things in a bit at a time over a long period of time. They saw that they could get together and go to city council and go to the county commissioners and get things done. And some things worked, others didn't, but it's like everything else. But they got an idea of what they could do. And as a result of that, we got people elected. The first city councilman in the history of Laredo, Chelo Montalvo. The first female county commissioner, Lily Perez. And among those then came some very progressive, very intelligent individuals like Cruz Cabello, whose brother Rufino was involved with the walkouts at Crystal City when the students protested, a man I admired greatly. And of course, Juan Ramirez, to city council. So we had our victories, we had our defeats, but more than anything else, I think we got people to thinking, hey, it doesn't have to be like this. We can get together and yes, we're going to lose some races, but you're going to win some. The thing is to go out there and life doesn't going to be like this. And so that's one of the things that I remember very, very much. One of the persons that I learned a lot from was reading about Saul Alinsky, the great community organizer in Chicago, who was the father of all of this. And I just learned about him by looking, by reading. Some of his tactics were incredible. If we have time, I'll share some of those with him because some of those were not only effective, they were hilarious, they were funny, but it worked.
Doctor, when kind of moving forward towards in the last, I would say from 2000 to the present, I know that you were very much involved with a lot of things that occurred, and so was VIDA and very much involved, and so was Geisler, and of course our dear friend who is resting in peace, Manuel Menchaca. And I saw you all change a lot of things that were going up there and face a lot of I wouldn't say battles, but confrontations with the city, because the city was trying to move forward, but still holding on to that Partido Viejo type mentality. And you all were the ones that changed it. Can you tell us a little bit about how you've seen Laredo from, I would say, 2000, last 25 years to the present?
I don't think I've seen anything. I mean, back then, where we had some supposed mavericks on the city, and Betty Flores was there, and then Galo and Poncho Caso. I mean, they entered into contract with United Water, a company that had a horrible reputation for taking advantage and charging more and corruption. And they entered into contract in Laredo, and we couldn't believe it. They contracted They fired all the city employees, and they got rid of a lot of equipment. It was terrible the way that the taxpayers got taken advantage of, and we tried to get the city to make some changes. Of course, they wouldn't make them because I believe there was some money being made on the side. I truly believe that some of those officials were being bribed. I truly believe this to this day. So we sued the city. We had two terrific attorneys, Monica Knudson, who is now a judge, and Allison Haynes. And we went to court and we prevailed, as a result of which, although those good Laredoans who had been fired when there's so many jobs that are scarce were brought back, and we got back to where we were and saved the taxpayers a lot of money. Of course, we had already lost a lot of money during the period that United Water was here. We were having to boil water. I mean, we regressed. That was a terrible period that we went through. And then from there to this time, I haven't seen any change. You know, I'm very concerned with the people that I hear are going to run for mayor. Very, very concerned, because they all have come under the influence of an individual that seems to have everybody under his thumb. Laredo, as we speak, has grown tremendously.
Absolutely.
You know, we have the largest airport, and to the point that we're such a good airport that the present airport manager is going to O'Hare Airport, one of the busiest airports in the world. And the airport has received a lot of money. They're undergoing a lot of changes. We need the bridge. We need the expansion. We need another one, because San Antonio has always been nipping at our tails, saying that they're the largest. How can they? You know, they're not an international bridge, but they sure as hell promote that. We need the promotion of this. We need a good chamber of commerce. We need, let me tell you about that. Why is it that a small town like New Braunfels draws so many people and they make so much money? You know, when they started out, it was like a 2-day thing. But what made New Braunfels, today they bring in millions, is they advertise. They spend so much money on advertising. They dress up for that 6-day holiday in the costumes of Germany. They bring all kinds of German beer. We could get it. We could do something like that with our heritage and do it better. But you know what? There's no leadership. There's no leadership in that town. That convention center that the city is talking about should be downtown. Should be downtown. I like the idea where they wanted it at the Plaza Theater. What do we have to offer at the downtown? Well, they just sunk a lot of million into San Agustin Church, you know, a beautiful cathedral. What could be done there? We could do something like New Braunfels do. You know, our Spanish Mexican heritage foods all around that area, costumes of the area. We could draw people here, Paul, like you can't believe, and do it better because we draw more from Mexico and from the United States. But what? All you have to do is start small and let it grow like they did in New Braunfels. They draw millions. They draw millions today, that little town just north of us, and they use it. They use their money for public service and for helping organizations, nonprofit organizations. They have it down pat. There's much talent in this town, and I can already imagine it. We could be doing it right here with a veterans museum, with the Tomas Sanchez statue that the artist Hinojosa is about to finish. It's huge, it's beautiful, and he's one of the country's great artists. He did the Tejano Village in Austin. He's done them in Corpus. He's done them all over the place. He's just a talented person.
Absolutely.
We could draw a lot of people to the museum. The young man that we buried a couple of weeks ago, David Leon Ojosa, the family he was awarded the Congressional Gold Medal. A lot of people don't know what it is. It's one of the hugest awards ever. Was it published? Do people know about it? No. That award was established by the Second Continental Congress. The first recipient was General George Washington. Then it was expanded to include individuals that have contributed greatly to this country. People like Winston Churchill, like Bob Hope, like Mother Teresa, like the Pope, like Douglas MacArthur.
And nothing is being said here in Laredo.
There's no one from Texas that has ever received that. It's going to be presented by the president at the White House, where Mrs. Holguín, David Lee's mother, is going to be flown. We don't know when, but Lieutenant Colonel James Hale, who's from Laredo, is going to let us know. He's at the Pentagon. This is such a huge, huge honor for Laredo, and nobody knows about it. I first read about it in El Mañana. I said, what? Shame on you. Shame on you, Laredo, for not following up. Nobody knows about this as we speak. Anyway, I know
with that being said, our blessings to the family and for the rest of the 12 that were killed in that horrific day on over in Afghanistan. Our blessings go and to all the veterans and for your services. But you said something real quick about everything there, and it resonated, and that's leadership. What is wrong with Laredo? We've had since 2000 to the present, we've had 3 mayors. We've had probably about between 27 to 32 different city councilmen that have turned over their seats. What is going wrong with Laredo? What do you think is wrong? What needs to change from your perspective and your opinion?
Lack of interest, unwillingness of professionals to serve. That's why we have all these dumbbells on city council, because the people that would be able to serve are unwilling. You know, I run into friends of mine and others. Oh no, no, no. Oh no, no, no.
And we
You,
have some excellent businessmen. We have excellent leaders in different fields that reside here in Laredo, that are born here in Laredo, that have moved here to Laredo, and great minds in their own businesses. And right now, I see Laredo as it's spiraling downward, and we need to stop it. We need to step up. But it feels like this when you talk to some of these city councilmen and you tell them, "Hey, man, what are you all doing? Is this really worth it? I mean, it's really knocking down the small businesses. You guys are killing the small businesses." They take it as an insult, and in their eyes, they're doing the best job. And I don't know. I would like to see somebody like brains of the Killam step up and say, you know what, let's get this show on the road. The excellent businessman, where there's many others that are out there. I'm just throwing his name up there because I think he would lead. You serve your term.
but
Let's
some
get
of
it.
these people that are to blame, think that it's beneath them.
Right.
And so you have to place the blame on them. Now, I used to work right now that I apologize because we have some people that are trying, and I sincerely apologize for using a word right now that I'm ashamed that I used, because we have had councilmen that have really tried, but that have been left by themselves.
Yeah.
Okay, so if I have offended someone, my big mouth, I'm sorry. But the truth is that we have had some very, very good councilmen who were there by themselves. You had
Absolutely.
no backup. And so many times I remember some people from the community, like my dear friend Manuel Menchaca, who was such a great speaker. I remember Eva Delgado, this lady from El Barrio, who would go there in Spanish and make them so ashamed of what they were doing. I remember the guy that I most admired in my life, Johnny Walls. What a man Johnny Walls was, going there to the Laredo Independent School District when we finally got rid of Vidal Trevino. Man, I think that's one of the best things that we ever did, but he was there too long. And he had all the teachers scared, all of them, voting, and they would check them off during the early vote. You'd have the buses there, and every principal was responsible for seeing that everyone voted. He could deliver 5,000 votes. When we finally started lambasting him, some of the teachers lost their fear because he only stood one meeting when Menchaca and Johnny and I, Bobby Mueller went, and after that, he wouldn't take it anymore. He would go watch the meetings in the back from a TV, and that was a great time for us. I took him to a grand jury along with VIDA, but it didn't go anywhere because the local were compromised, and then the state attorney general was Dan Morales, who went to jail. So what can I tell you? But we sure work hard. But Johnny, I will always always remember. What a guy,
Absolutely. How would it be to kind of spark up or to turn the switch on? Because when you stand up and you say that you want to be elected into this position, and you sign your name on that dotted line, it takes a lot. Not everybody's going to do that. And when you run and you campaign and you're listening to your constituents, and you start seeing everybody there, and you start making all the promises, and all of a sudden you get up there and you forget about everything that's in there. Is it the limelight that kind of takes people away? Do they get blindsided, and all of a sudden you start seeing them work, and you can follow the pattern in the last 20 years, 2020, from 2020 this way. And there's some that really started working for the benefit of their districts. There's very few, but usually the changes would occur when re-election came of age, you know, and right away you'll see picking up the trash and putting up the speed bumps, and well, guess what? We're going to put in this new light and this new stop sign. It always occurs when re-election time's in. How is it that we can get them in the first couple of years and kind of turn their switch back on for them to actually do their job, what they were supposed to be in there, or for them not to forget, or how we can switch that limelight away? I don't know what it is. I think they're great people going in. I don't think any one of them there has an evil streak or wants anybody to go under. I just think that there's something there that's lacking, that the miscommunication, how can I say it, not being held accountable.
I know exactly what you mean, Paul, and because you've seen it, your dad has seen it, we've all seen it. It's the money. You have a young guy, unknown, he wants to run, he doesn't have any money. That's where we come in. We have to have somebody like that we can support, because right now you have, let's face it, you have people of money, they already have their candidates, they've already run, the Tano Tijerinas, the Galos, they have the money. So they can do whatever they want. They're also picking their candidates. Who are they going to answer to? To them. We're going to see this with the mayor's race, with at least two candidates. They're going to answer to their sugar daddies, and their sugar daddies are something that is not good. One of them had Nancy Pelosi, the Speaker of the House, who didn't know where she was. That's how dangerous this is. We have to be very, very, very concerned about the mayor's race. The present mayor has been great towards the veterans, and I sincerely believe that we have something that's coming, that we better be prepared to find a good person to lead the city. Of course, we have a great city manager. My respects to Robert Eads. And you know what I'm most proud of? That Robert is a former Marine. And last night I went to my Marine Corps meeting, and we're all were there planning about what we're gonna do to honor all the Laredoans that were killed since the beginning of the war, and there are 3. And we're gonna coordinate this with the Pentagon where Lieutenant Colonel James Hale is, and he's going to do that to come down here once more before he retires 1st March. So we don't have too much time, but we're going to do something for those three. Of course, that includes David Lee. And then we want to do something for him here that we're going to do as Marines for David before he retires. So there's something that...
it's coming up in the near future for that.
Yes, well, the mayor's race is a year away.
It's a year away. And you know, a lot of people here in Laredo do not understand that Laredo is a strong city manager government.
That's right.
You know, and everybody thinks that it's a strong mayoral city, a municipality, and it's not.
It's not.
And Robert Eads has done, he's done good. He's done good, but I think what's happening is that he's being, how can I say, micromanaged. I mean, the city councilmen have to step back and let him handle what he has to handle.
Well, I tell you, we're going to do anything that we have to do on behalf of Robert Eads. He's a great man, and a lot of people don't know about all he does behind the scenes.
Absolutely.
But we have to do that. But again, Paul, we have to get people in this community. You know, you've been doing it for years. Your dad, you know, a lot of people. Geisler is ill, but he continues, a lot of them. I'm in a damn wheelchair, but we continue to do. But we also have to nurture our younger generation, because a lot of them don't seem to have this interest or do not realize what we have to do. You know, I'm 83 and a half. I've got to make the last ones count, and I still put everything that I can with what I have to do that what I think is going to somehow be my grain of contribution, and that's why your program is so important, Paul, to get the truth out there. You're a pioneer in this perspective, and so I know that you will get some good people involved. They tell me, and I forget the name, that there's a very good, young, unknown attorney running for mayor. Well, we have to get him out. People know who he is. We have to get his name out. We have to get him, let people know who he is. Unfortunately, that's part of
and you know,
public service.
Absolutely. And you know, every business is they say once you open your business, it's open to the public. And I say this: if you have a way to outcome and to let others inform the lesser informed, we have to do that, and we have to stand up there one way or another, and commend those that are doing something for the community. You know, we need to step. There's a lot of wrongs in here, but I'm not going to be pointing fingers, because that we can get our fingers thrown. You know, maybe they might not like me, whatever. To me, it doesn't matter. But you know, I'm thick-skinned, just like you are. We can take it like that. But the problem that I see is that we need to really start voting in individuals. How can I put it this way? That are going to stand up for the community and stand up for everybody, not just for an agenda.
For instance, let me give you, for instance, the Old Mercy Hospital.
Sure.
Okay, the Chinese were going to come in.
Yeah.
The Great World Trade Center, the owner owes $1 million in taxes. What's happening there? Is nobody collecting it? Nobody's doing anything? Why? Why? Is there some special reason? Is this guy canonized that he doesn't have to pay taxes? Couldn't the city use that? You know, do we have so many taxes coming in that that it can be ignored? Hell, I pay taxes. I'm disabled. I'm a veteran. Couldn't my taxes be put on hold for several years? I would love to have a deal like that. What the hell is going on there, Paul? This is exactly the same thing we've been talking about.
You know, that's Doctor, that's exactly what we've been trying to see. Where's accountability? Is it let's go after that person because he did not give me a yard sign, did not put a bumper sticker? Let's go after that person over there. Let's go after that small business over there, and let's twist the hand of that restaurant over here because guess what? He didn't comply with what I wanted to comply. I mean, there's a lot of wrongs within the city. A lot of wrongs within all the city from all the departments, coming from the taxes on up. There's a lot of directors there, as you well know, that have been around longer than the mayor. You know, we've already switched 3 mayors, and there's still directors of departments in there. They still
let me bring my family. Let me bring my family to your restaurant for free dinners, and I won't charge you with violation because I found all this crap in your kitchen. You know, that still is going on.
Oh, I know that's going on. I've seen it. All that's going on. I mean, there's corruption inside that like I said, we have to start holding these people a bit accountable for it. I mean, look at the blemishes in the last couple of weeks that has happened with the police. And I'm one that's to support the police, but has the police really stepped up for it? I mean, now it just seems that, you know, you want to be a Laredo police officer, you have to be able to punch your wife in the face or your girlfriend in the face. No, that's not what it's about. You know, and
what about the police sergeant that was having an affair with a woman police officer on our time, on our nickel, on using our vehicles, turning off the GPS. So they were having a great time on taxpayers' money and being protected by other police officers that he was here, he was there. And then when they got caught, who got punished? The policewoman. I mean, you tell me about corruption and what happened to police officer? Don't ever do it again. Por favor, ya. You know, that's a police department, among other things.
so like I said, you know, we need to get these guys that are up there and that are sitting up there and that were elected to start holding these individuals throughout accountable. But then you also have the unions. ¿Me entiendes? Here they come in. You have the unions. They'll give for a candidate, and the unions do it. Both unions. And what happens? Now all of a sudden they have a new contract going up, and everybody votes. You have to put yourself out. You know, you cannot vote. That's a conflict of interest. You can't vote for that. But like I said, nobody is holding them accountable. Exactly. You know what they remind me of, or it reminds me of? The mob.
Yeah.
They remind me of the mob. And if you don't do this right, you know, something's going to happen to your small business. If you start talking too much, we're going to threaten your child goes to this school, and guess what's going to happen to them? And it goes on, and that needs to stop. I mean, Laredo needs to stop because right now Laredo is spiraling. It's in a joyride going down. But doctor, what are your ideas for all this? What would you say? What would you opinionate? What we need to actually do?
We
You've been
have
around longer.
to,
You've seen it.
we have to get young people involved. We have to get young people motivated and involved, not only to run for office if they don't want to, but support someone as good as running for office. And, you know, I can't force someone to do that, but it has to come, it has to come from them, you know, and the only thing I can tell them is get together and run someone or help someone that is running that doesn't have the means, but has the heart to affect change for the good. Get behind him and help him, and don't let these other bandits get in. Like, just look at the candidates running for mayor. You know who they are. Who else is out there right now that is announced for mayor that you can truly say, wow, that's a good person? We all know who is going to run, but I haven't heard of any good names that are going to run. Have you?
Probably the same names that you've heard.
Okay. Look at what's being spent on the arena. I mean, on the light downs. I think it's a duplication of the arena. I'm not in favor of that. Anyway,
You know, it's here's something, and I'm gonna tell you this to close.
oh, and by the way, let me mention this. One of the persons that is running for mayor, who's a councilman, is the director of the arena, full well knowing that you cannot draw two paychecks from the state. They made him director of the arena because that's a nonprofit. They're working in a way to finding a right way to do the wrong thing. You know what I mean? He's getting a check for being the director of the arena and getting a check for being on the city council. Now that really grabs me. You know why? Because of the sugar daddies. That's why now they're advertising a position for an assistant director so they don't have to do anything. This is a guy that's running for mayor. You know exactly who I'm talking about. These are the kinds of things, Paul, that have to come to light. Why didn't that position advertised so everyone, or maybe it was advertised but they do it just for the hell of it, you know, because they already have it lined up. Anyway, a lot to think about bringing some young go-getters on this show who have been active and have the means to affect some change and get behind some go-getters, Paul, because you have a great show and you have the means to get across and make a difference. So I congratulate you for this show and
Thank you.
look forward to coming again
For sure.
before the next elections, because you have a way of getting across to the community, and this is a great community service that you're providing.
Thank you so much. And just like you, we both love our city, or else we wouldn't have come back. And I want to thank you for everything that you've done and mentoring so many and being that leader that you continue to be.
Thank you so much.
Thank you all. Till next time. Bye.
Next time.